folks, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. I'm looking forward to I always look forward to them because I never know when, almost never, because virtually every song I do is a true reaction, which means I've never heard the song before. But this is John Grenell and Jodi Vaughan, Have You Been Lonely? And it was requested by Jemima Gertrude. And Jemima or Gertrude, I'm not sure if that's an interposition of or transpositioning of your first and last names, but you asked if I ever react to non-American country music. And the answer is yes. I've reacted to a fair amount of it, I suppose, however you quantify that. But I've reacted to a number. You know, Dio Matrona. Oh gosh, last name is it's spelled Catriona, but I think it's pronounced like Katrina. I did hers. And there have been others like true Irish music. One of my first videos that I did, it's actually one of the most viewed videos on the channel, is 5 a.m. at an Irish wedding. And I was early in the channel. I wasn't necessarily at my best in reacting, but it was still good and it was still fun. And they did Rattling Bog. They were singing. The folks, you know, it's like 5 a.m. according to the video, after the wedding, and the bride, the groom, I think the maid of honor, who was the bride's sister, and some others were singing Rattling Bog. And it was tremendous. I loved it. So the answer is yes. Let's see what they've got for us. I don't know anything other than they're non-American country. Oh, New Zealand. Ooh, very cool. I'm thinking the UK, and it's not. There's a standard country bass line.
Have you ever been lonely? Have you ever been blue?
Nice voice.
Have you ever loved someone just as I love you?
Wow, that voice reminds
Can't
me
you
of
see that I'm sorry for each mistake I've made?
smooth.
Can't you see I've changed, dear? Can't you see that I've paid?
Quick pause. Brenda Lynn Allen, shout out to you, my dear, because she reminds me, the way you sing, she reminds me of the way you sing, and vice versa. The way you elongate, you go deep and that, but your tonal quality, I knew it was somebody I knew.
Be a little forgiving. Take me back in your heart.
How can I go on living now that we're apart?
Ouch.
If you knew what I've been through, you would know why I ask you,
Have you ever been lonely?
Have you ever been blue?
I think they're both lonely. That's why they're duetting there.
Can't you see that I'm sorry for each mistake I've made?
Can't you see I've changed, dear? Can't you see that I've paid?
Be a little forgiving. Take me back in your heart.
Oh, what'd he do?
How can I go on living now that we're apart? If you knew what I've been through, you would know why I ask you,
Have you ever been lonely?
Have you ever been blue?
I love it when songs pose questions. This was, there's such a craft to using words and telling a story. Human beings were wired for story. It's that simple. We love stories. We love them when they're told well. We can't stand it when the punchline doesn't pay off. In a song, the lyrics can pigeonhole you. It could be too much detail. It doesn't leave much to the imagination. But there's the opposite end of it where it just leaves the song open for you to insert your life into it. It doesn't say too much, but in it, it just gets you thinking. Not merely because it's a question, but you've got the male-female dynamic. So you've got the relationship on display. We don't know what's wrong, what went wrong. But when he was saying be a little forgiving, at first I thought he was just speaking generically. That's how you've got to be in a relationship when something goes wrong. But he was actually asking her, well, basically do you have it in your heart to take me back? I don't know what he did, but she's uber lonely. And so I think the writing's on the wall on this one, so to speak, that she's going to take him back and they'll be back together again. And I think when they sang harmoniously there, I called it duetting, but when they sing together, that suggests that's one of those non-verbal ways of saying, well, they're probably together because they're thinking and feeling the same thing, so they're going to get back together. Otherwise, in one sense, it makes more sense to keep them apart vocally so that he sings, then she sings, because the implication is they didn't get back together. But he has a beautiful voice, but so does she. I don't know what Jodi's career is like, but the album here says New Zealand's original country gentleman. So we've got Gentleman Jim Reeves and we've got Vern the Voice Gostin. People get nicknames, and generally when they stick, it's because they're well earned. And maybe John Grenell has that. I'm not sure if he's performed in the States. I'm guessing he has. I don't know where or when. But Jodi's voice, maybe she has a career of her own and not just as a backing vocalist, because she has a delightful voice, like compelling. But he does too. He's kind of like a cross between Don Williams and Waylon. You know, it's kind of like that deep raspiness, but with the smoothness of Don Williams. Jemima Gertrude, I'm going to rate this song, and just a pleasant smile. That might have been the first specifically New Zealand artist that I've reacted to. I can't think of another. Some of you folks, Jeff Cather might remember because you have that type of memory. But the number that popped into my head was a 9.1. It had an orchestral element to it with the strings, all right? I don't want to say fiddle because it was really more violins. I think it was more than one. And it just had this angelic feel set against lyrical sadness, but then hope for the future. Kind of had many elements in it, but mostly it was just very, very well told story with two gorgeous vocalists. So, John, I don't know if you'll see this. Jodi, I don't know if you'll see this. Jemima, I assume you will, and maybe you know the artist, but in any case, thank you from the US of A. Thank you for that. All right, folks, have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country, whatever country you may be in.